You found yourself on another episode of Locked On Bulls. On today's episode, we're going to be previewing tonight's game against the New York Knicks. We'll get into all that and more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. And I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago.
The heck was that?
Say something. You just say what's up or something afterwards, bro.
I don't. I literally don't.
That's not
I
true.
never
I don't
do.
believe you. I don't believe
never
you.
do.
I don't believe you. Nonetheless, the Bulls
right,
face the
What's
New
going
York
on?
Knicks.
You okay?
I'm
you
good,
fall?
bro. There's only a couple of teams in the NBA that I can legitimately say I hate. The New York Knicks are one of them. I hate the Knicks. I hate that franchise. I hate the ownership. I hate everything about it. What do the Bulls need to do tonight to get a win against the New York Knicks?
Show up. They're poorly run. There's no Jalen Brunson. I don't think they have a lot of. I mean, listen, like there's talent on that team, but like none of it plays well together. Don't let RJ Barrett start hitting 3-pointers, which he's not doing a very good job at this season anyway. It's not much, bro. Like the Knicks aren't good. I told y'all this coming into the season. The Knicks suck. Now, granted, right?
They're doing better than us, right?
You know what I mean? Like it's tough out here. Like I'm throwing stones out here, but I mean, like honestly, right? Like the Knicks play a bad brand of basketball. Like I'll say this about the Bulls. Like there are moments that make me pull my hair out with this Bulls team, but the Knicks actually just play a bad brand of basketball. Like it does not look like anything that's going to remotely work at any point in time. And then sometimes it does. It's weird. I don't know. I think honestly, right, like the biggest matchup has to be P. Will with Julius Randle. I think P. Will's actually done a pretty good job on him. When they matched up last season, early in the season, I think that was P. Will's kind of first game where he really looked like kind of okay. Maybe he's taking a little bit of a step here. And defensively, he shut Randall down, right? Listen, it's like Ringo says over on the Breeze, bro. Left. You know what direction he's going. So I think that makes his job a little bit easier as well. So I got the Bulls getting a dub in this one. I actually, you know what? Here's the thing as well, right? Like, again, the Bulls schedule. Your camera just cut out again, bro.
Keep going. You good.
Again, the Bulls schedule, right? Really weird this season. We played a ton of games on the road and haven't fared as well on the road, but the Bulls are actually a pretty good team in the United Center, right? And these two games come in the UC. So I think that'll be an advantage as well for the Bulls coming into this one. And I got the Bulls getting a dub in this one. I think that it's pretty, I don't know, dog. Like it's not, what analysis can we have, especially when they've lost Jalen Brunson? Like that's such a huge blow to that team.
It is. It is. I would say this, like losing Jalen Brunson for that team, it's such a big part of just how their offense runs is having Jalen Brunson there. Yeah. And then they don't really have a backup that's who's going to come in? Miles McBride or Derrick Rose is going to start in this place quickly.
Relax. Like, Let's not disrespect. It was a little disrespectful. That was a little disrespectful.
That's fine. Listen, some disrespect is earned. But with that being said, like, yeah, I mean, but losing Jalen Brunson is so huge. To when that team is successful, it is large part because of Jalen Brunson and what he's able to do. So him being out of that game, and it's not official he's going to miss the game yet either. Like he's listed as day-to-day technically right now. Don't be surprised if the Knicks all of a sudden say he's available tomorrow morning.
Now, I will say this, right? Jalen Brunson, a Lake County native, so if he probably is really trying to focus in on getting back in this game, being able to play in front of a crowd that would be his home crowd, right? Being able to play in front of a team that at least he's been around. I don't know if he was a fan of him growing up, but got to see a lot of Brunson as he was growing up because I also grew up in Lake County. So got to see a lot of Jalen Brunson highlights and a lot of his tape and a lot of people just going, he's going to be a problem, you know. So he's the real deal. And if he's healthy, it does pose an issue, especially with the injury issues that we have at the point guard position right now. We'll talk about that in the second segment. But I think, right, like, I mean, here's the thing. Even if Brunson's able to go, Caruso is probable.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like that's enough for – does this feel like kind of a game where it's for the Bulls to lose? Like, if the Bulls lose, it's going to be like you kept shooting yourself in the foot.
I mean, let's be clear here. Every game feels like it's a game that's set for the Bulls to lose at any given time. Like, they can win any game, they can lose any game. Just being honest. I will say this, though. Jalen Brunson being in this – like, the type of point guard Jalen Brunson in is typically the type of point guards Caruso and Io have success defending. Yeah. So not to say that they're going to completely shut him down or anything, but I do have faith that they'd be able to disrupt him. He wouldn't be able to do what he usually does. Yeah. But if he does not play in this game, that I'm not really looking at that point guard matchup anymore. At that point, I'm looking at, like you said, Patrick Williams and Julius Randle. What can Patrick Williams do against Julius Randle? I just looked it up too. I thought for some reason I had in my mind that Patrick Williams has always played good against Julius Randle. In 3 games, Julius Randle averages 28 points, 8 rebounds, and almost 6 assists against Patrick Williams.
Dang. Is that just on P. Will, though? Is that just on P? Well, no, I can't say that, though, because rookie year, that was the year Julius Randle was actually cooking. Second year, I think P. Will had the nice game against them. But he only played the one.
He didn't play in – Julius Randle did not play in that game.
Julius Randle didn't play in that game. Who's the big dude that we played against?
Hold on, give me 1 second. Let me make sure I'm not looking at it because it doesn't pull up any 2022 matchups for them.
Didn't he get hurt? No, P. Will got hurt in that game.
You're right.
P. Will got hurt in that game.
So the averages actually go up considerably because last season, so that was all rookie year. In P. Will's second year, he actually did. You're right. In 28 minutes, he held Julius Randle to 5 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists on 11% shooting.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I remember it was an awful game. Isn't that the game P. Will got hurt in, or was that versus Detroit?
No, that was
against Mitchell Robinson, right? Yeah. So, listen, don't try to dunk on Mitchell Robinson, or do, right? But like, finish it, right? Like, just finish it. But I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna be honest with you. It's hard for me to like pull my Bulls fandom out of this. Like, I know we're supposed to come in here with the expert on that, but if we lose to the Knicks, bro, the New York Knicks, bro. Listen, the Knickerbockers. Like, come on, bro.
Who thought that was a good idea for the name of a team?
That was about to be bad for me.
Yeah, that was. I know exactly where you Oh, bro, you would have definitely got that. Pat, go ahead and clock out for me.
Go ahead, clock out for me. Yeah, that would have been a tough one there. That'd have been tough to come back from. I look at there's 2 teams that I always got free smoke for, and I always feel like the Bulls can beat just because like they usually underperform. The Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
We should sweep the Knicks this year. Bing bong.
Let's hope so. How important is the matchup of our centers versus their centers? Mitchell Robinson, Isaiah Hartenstein, Jericho Sims all play that center position for the New York Nets. I wish it was the Nets. The New York Knicks. How important do you think that matchup is going to be tomorrow night? Or tonight,
I think it's a matchup that we have an advantage at, honestly, right? Like it's a matter of if Billy's going to play him. But I think we have the advantage with Andre Drummond coming off of the bench, especially kind of getting back in his groove a little bit, right? These last couple of games, Andre Drummond really been playing well and getting back into his group. Julius Randle's not going to guard him, right? And Julius Randle's not going to slow down Vooch if we really go to him. I think this is one of those games where, and I can't say every game is this way, right? I know a lot of Bulls fans are just like, we need to feed the paint and operate from the paint. You couldn't do that versus Atlanta. Atlanta actually played the paint really, really well. But I think this is a game where you can. Isaiah Hartenstein more defensively is the guy that I'm worried about. Mitchell Robinson is a shot blocker, right? So he makes a difference there. But Isaiah Hartenstein, I think, can hurt you in a couple of different ways. And so he would be the big man matchup that I'm most worried about. Outside of that, though, Julius Randle, I don't know. Like, he just seems like a 4, but like an oversized 4 that doesn't move as well as a 4 should.
This is true.
It's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic on that team for me.
Well, the New York Knicks are a weird team, but the Bulls, if they can come in, as we've talked mainly about the Knicks in this one, but if the Bulls come in and execute play with the defense, play with some energy. You've had 2 nights off. You're playing at home. All those things gotta give something to the Bulls, man. They can't come out flat at home.
Well, and I think that's like I said. Let me double check it here before we go to this next segment. I believe our home record this year is like 7-3.
No, because we just got over 500 with the last 2 games that we won at home. I think we're like 7-5 at home.
Maybe 7-5. I'm trying to see. I don't know if StatMuse breaks it down right there. We can go to the next segment. I'll find it. We'll figure it out.
All right. Next up, we're going to be talking about injury updates to Ayo Dosunmu and Alex Caruso and how that could affect the Bulls tonight against the Knicks. But first, I got to talk to you guys about Turo. Turo is the world's largest car-sharing marketplace. With Turo, you can book any car you want, wherever you want it, from a community of local hosts. Browse a huge selection of vehicles for just about any occasion or budget across the U.S., U.K., Canada, Australia, and Australia. Book a spacious SUV or minivan for your family trip. Get a classic or luxury car for a special event, birthday, or holiday. Find the affordable economy cars if you're on a budget and just need to get from A to B. Test drive that new electric vehicle you've had your eye on and want to see how it fits in your everyday life. Many Turo hosts can even deliver the car right to you. Every trip is backed by liability insurance. Terms and conditions and exclusions apply. Forget boring rental cars and find your drive at Turo.com.
Oh, yeah, we got music back, baby. We want to thank you guys for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. For your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes. Local experts and insight that only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, Pat. So Alex Caruso is listed as questionable. And Ayo Dosunmu is currently listed right now as doubtful with a
Yep. Exactly what you thought.
Exactly what you
Abdomen, my
almost
left,
said it was.
you know what?
Yeah. He got hurt. A pelvic, what was it called? A pelvic
contusion.
Yeah, there you go. With a pelvic contusion, aka the family jewels got a little dinged up there. How do you think this impacts the Chicago Bulls against the Knicks tonight?
Well, last update I got from I guess 5 hours ago was that Caruso was probable. So that makes me excited to see. I think that the offense moves a little bit better with Caruso in there. We talked about that yesterday, right? A little more ball movement, a little more facilitating, a little more. It's not sticking to the hands. I think it's also due to the fact that Caruso not as much of a threat to score the basketball, right? He's more looking to do the other things, and I think that gives the Bulls a little bit more of an advantage versus the Knicks. Ball movement is going to be key here. Listen, at the end of the day, it's still Tibbs with a grudge, right? Like it's still Tibbs looking at the Bulls like they fired me, so now I got to take it out on them. We got to go out there and get these W's. That's how I imagine Tibbs talks. It's actually not that bad of an impression. And again, right, I think that with Caruso out there, that's going to you're going to be able to attack that defense a lot more. With a lot more aggression and with a lot of different looks, right? Like it's like I said, I think I said it either on my show or yesterday on Locked On. There was a play that happened in the Dallas game where Zach doesn't take the shot, kicks it out over to Caruso. Caruso kicks it to DeMar. DeMar down to Vooch. Vooch right back up to Zach. Zach gets the same look, but now it's a wide open look and he's able to take it. Caruso allows us to get smarter shots in this new offense that Billy Donovan is rolling out. And I think that's the one thing that you really are looking forward to getting back in the lineup. The loss of Ayo, I think depending on if Brunson is in or out is a little bit different, but the loss of Ayo is going to be tough, right? Because I think I think seeing Trae Young or knowing Trae Young was coming, you've seen him play a little bit better defensively in the last couple of games. Me and you talked about it. Ayo been getting cooked a little bit. Ayo's second season, he's been getting cooked a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Like a light toasting on both sides. You know what I'm saying? Nothing crazy. Like a light, you know what I mean?
Light toasting?
A light toasting on both sides. You know what I mean? Like he's been seared. He's just been seared. He's not burnt. He's just seared a little bit. You know what I mean? Is that weird? Don't worry about that. By the way, Bulls home record 7-5 as well. So that you were
I think
right
that's
on
what
that.
I said. Yeah. See?
We literally all the teams we lost to. Well, Denver suck. Actually, I can't say that. I can't. Let me look at it. Oh no, I guess we got Denver on there. We
And
lost
Cleveland,
to Orlando.
right? We lost to Cleveland at home. Was that in
We lost to
Cleveland?
Cleveland at home. We lost to the Pelicans. Pelicans are cooking, by the way. Good Lord, New Orleans, keep it up.
The Pelicans are looking like a championship
I
contender.
told Muggs when you
But
get a
to get back on the
generational
Bulls and Io
just-
DeSumo and Alice Caruso is this. If Caruso can play, but Io can't, that means we're probably going to see some Kobe at point. Well, Goran, we're probably still good. They're probably going to just play Goran heavy minutes.
Goran a little bit heavier.
Yeah, Goran a little bit heavier, but you know, as long as Caruso can play, it's one or the other. We need one of them. We can't if we don't have both of them, it's cool. We can weather the storm. But I think we need one of them, even with Brunson being out. So I think Alice Caruso. I think he probably could have played in the last game, but they figured, why have you travel for one day when we coming right back home?
I think the biggest question is he really good, right? Like Caruso's the guy that really will be like he played through that ankle. He was listed on the injury report for what, 4 or 5 games, ankle injury.
I mean, keep in mind too, he finished the game where he broke his wrist, and then it was like the next morning. Oh, by the way, Alex.
By the way,
gone.
broken wrist. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's snapped in half. It needs surgery. Like what? You kept playing, bro? That's the end of the game, bro. Like, first off, you got to find somebody to fight this guy. That's also the end of the game. No, I think that that's the only question I have. Right? What Caruso are we getting? Are we getting the Caruso that's going out there? Trying to be try hard, trying to be, I'm going to fight through this because Io's out now. So now we need one of us in there, or are we getting the Caruso that's actually coming back healthy? That's the only thing that I have a little bit of a concern about, because here's the thing. I'm fine with guys sitting out now. I'm glad that we're seeing, and I don't even know if Bulls fans notice this because it's not the main guys. The Bulls have been injured the entire season. We have had guys missing the entire season.
And
like
now,
major
not
pieces in our rotation.
But not as significant as last season, right? Where we were losing people for 2, 3, 4 to 6 weeks. But we have had nagging injuries for pretty much
I think the thing is, right, we're not losing them all at once.
That's
like we lost everybody at once. But we've lost Caruso twice this year for a couple of games. We've lost Drummond once this year for 4 or 5 games.
7 games.
Yeah, we lost Goran for a
Javante.
couple of games. We lost Javante for a couple of games. Zach LaVine Zach's been healthy for most of the year. That was team management on that. But most of the season, we've still been dealing with injury to guys that and then we look at Billy Donovan and we're like, what's wrong with your rotations? They don't exist.
Oh well, no, I can't get in there, no, because his rotations, he still got more than enough to have some decent rotations. Sometimes you still be like, oh, Billy, okay, all right, cool.
Only rotation I had full smoke for was when Billy threw out that it was Kobe White. Was it Kobe Caruso, Io? No, it was Kobe Caruso, Dragic, Io, and Drummond. I was like, what is this doing? What is this offense doing? But hopefully we won't see any of those. I think that the biggest thing for the Bulls coming into this game, navigating these injuries, is that you take them into account. And I like that they're being careful with guys. I do. I know that Io could have come back in and played probably. He was standing at the bench I can go. And then they were like, go to the locker room before it falls off.
Well, no, that's because he was over there. He was over there like this.
Don't do
Coach,
it.
put me in. Coach, I swear I'm not hurt. Oh, Coach, I can play. I promise.
That's how his voice sounded after that pelvic contusion. That's how his voice sounded. So
I'm still impressed that they threw it. Hey, bro, I'd be flexing at the fact that they was abdominal contusion, bro. I'd be like, you know what it is. You know what it is. All the way up to the abdomen, baby. You did this, Spade. You did this.
Oh, that's an inside joke.
Oh, it's great.
But hopefully, at the end of the day, it's this. To your point, it's about getting everybody healthy, right? And we have enough now. We have depth here. Especially if Caruso can play, we got more than enough guard depth to weather the storm. Get Io healthy for whatever that's worth. We're going to be home now through the weekend. So take advantage of that. Rest them up, and we'll see where it ends up all shaking out for the Chicago Bulls.
That is a weird. I think when you said that yesterday, like I was like, why did they leave the day in between, bro? Why are the Knicks just here for a week? Like they literally come in. They probably here today.
Yeah.
And they're just here till Saturday, basically.
Yeah, basically. That's crazy.
Put that together, bro. Like
that's
I really want to get the dude that comes up with the NBA
and then
schedule.
Sunday they face Indiana, so they're still basically here throughout the rest of the
week. I'd
stay
in Chicago. I would stay here. I'm
That's
driving
crazy.
back. I don't know. Hey man, before we get into the final segment, but we got to talk about some interesting changes to the league awards that are coming out and stuff like that. And we got to talk about how when was his last game? 2004. So 18 years later, Michael Jordan still has a two-handed grip on the NBA. But before we do that, we got to let you guys know about betonline.net. Betonline.net, your number one source for your sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there, from pro football to college bowl season to NBA and World Cup action. Croatia, you almost had it. We were all rooting for you. We've got it all here at betonline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can even find those at BetOnline as well. They're the fastest and easiest way to get your betting info. Head to the website today and use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline. It's where the game starts. What do you think the odds are on Io DeSumo? Never mind. Don't worry about
that. That's that. Oh, bro, if you were about to say what I thought you were about to say, you need Jesus is all I can say to you, brother. You need some Jesus. But with that being said, with that being said, brother, we got one last topic to talk about, and that is the new NBA trophy. So the NBA basically announced new names to all their trophies for their individual end-of-season awards, and we have a new end-of-season award with the most clutch player. Eventually, this will be the DeMar DeRozan Award at some point within the next 20 years. They're going to have to change it again. But with that being said, the headliner, the one that matters here to this podcast and our fan base, the MVP trophy is now named the Michael Jordan Trophy. How do you feel about that, brother?
I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, it's cool, right? Like, I like it. I like that that we're giving Jordan that recognition, and that he still just has like, is there anybody that has a grip on the NBA like Michael Jordan? There it is right there. It looks weird. But the reasoning behind it, I like, actually.
The thing that my issue is, look at all the pictures and poses around there.
That you could have
one of those would have been better as the trophy than what they decided to go with.
But
it's like some weird mix between Luke Skywalker on A New Hope, the cover of that. Like, all it needed to be was a lightsaber with the beam coming off, and it looks like a mix between Olajuwon doing the sky. Like, it just looks like a weird mix of things that are not Michael Jordan. But I am glad that the trophy is named after him.
I think it was interesting, right? At least the reason that I had heard that they had said Jordan didn't want it to look like him and stuff like that, was essentially, right, like he wanted everybody to be able to see themselves in it, and he did. But as you read between the lines, right, like, Jordan, he's like, but you know whose name it is, right? Like, that's what I was reading in that story, right? Like, it was like he was this upstanding human being. And it was like, dog, he's got such a hold on the league. Do you realize right now they got Jordan on the jersey? They got Jordan shoes on. He owns some of the players. That was a tough way to say that. Some of the players assigned to his shoe brand. That was a tough way.
The trophy is 23.6 inches tall. Like,
come on, bro. 23.6, bro. He owns this league 20 plus years later.
a 5-sided base to acknowledge his 5 MVPs that he won, which he should have won way more than that. The ball on top has 23 points, of course, because they had to get that in there, and it's 1.23 inches in diameter as well. Bro, it's so many layers to this, bro. Like,
I'll bet you Michael Jordan's lock code to his phone is 23623.
no, it's probably 23, 45, 23.
20. You think he giving the 45 that much credit? Yeah, I don't think he's giving the 45 that much
It's
credit.
in there a little bit. It's in there a little bit.
It's probably like you said, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's probably all it is right there. That 2, 3, 5, 6. Like, come on,
there
bro.
You go.
It's impressive, bro. Like it is. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I actually like the award. I like that. The one thing that I like about the NBA is the NBA is big on honoring the people that have got it to the next level.
Like 5 years or so, renaming the Eastern and Western Conference
after Magic and Larry.
Trophies to Magic and Bird. The All-Star MVP trophy is the Kobe Bryant Award.
Yeah.
So they've really, in the last handful of years, really changed things that still had meaning and added more meaning by acknowledging players that are the backbone of what this league is. Now, also to acknowledge, I know we're a Bulls podcast and we're going to talk about Jordan, but the Defensive Player of the Year is now the Hakeem Olajuwon Trophy. Rookie of the Year is the Wilt Chamberlain Trophy. Sixth Man of the Year is the John Havlicek Trophy. And then George McConn is the Most Improved Player. And then it is it Jerry West? Is that the clutch?
Hey, what, you going George McConn on that, bro? I got to call you out on this, bro. I got to call you out on this.
Listen, I didn't grow up in the States, bro.
Come on, bro. Miking, bro. Who's McConn, bro? You there you go with that tilde again. You just be adding a tilde today.
Bro, listen, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is.
And what was the other one you said? My bad.
The Clutch Performer of the Year, that is the Jerry West.
How we measuring that?
Bro,
how we measuring?
You know what? They have to just measure it by, I would say, because they do keep track of, what is it? They factor in clutch is that if it's 5 points or if the 5 points are less is the difference within like the last 3 minutes. So I probably think they're just going to look at that and just say who's had the most impact.
But see, that sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
But that would also sound great for like how we vote for MVP, and we don't do it that way.
MVP is who has the most impact in general, because you can be MVP and not be forcing a lot of clutch positions because you just have your team so good. So I understand the difference between them.
I mean, Jokic had the most impact last year out of any player in the NBA. You know what I mean? Like
yes, because that team just does not go if it's not if he's not the center of that team, the focal point of that team, they aren't nearly as good as what they are.
But I just think, right, like it's still such a storyline driven thing, right? Like you said, it's gonna be the DeMar DeRozan Award at some point, but I don't know, bro. Like it's just weird, bro. It's just like the Clutch Player of the Year. I guess it'll be cool at some point, but like even if you measure that based on you honestly can measure that based on like just how Damian Lillard plays and how he finishes games off and stuff like that, and they might not make the playoffs. So you're just gonna give it to a team that's not in the playoffs. Like that's what I'm saying. Like how we measuring that? You know what I mean? Like it's a weird award to me. Out of all of them, I was like, that's weird, bro. We didn't need that. We didn't need the extra award.
Yeah, I mean, if they wanted to add an award, I could think of other awards they could have added, bro. They could have added the Sophomore of the Year. We already have a Most Improved Player. I'm trying to think what else they could have added.
What would be the best trophy to add? What would be the best? That's an drop that in the comments below, man. What would be the best award that you want added to the NBA awards if we're just adding stuff in here now? Because Clutch Player of the Year, to me, I'm sorry, they were like, we need something else. How about Clutch Player of the Year? Why? Like, because here's the thing, right? What if it ends up being like TJ McConnell? You know what I mean? Like a clutch player could be just somebody that knocks down clutch shots or knocks down big shot Rob.
Oh, why was it not named Robert Horry?
Let me get the Robert Horry Award. There's nobody more clutch. Well, actually, all right, there's a lot.
I mean, Jerry West. I understand wanting to acknowledge Jerry West, but he's already the logo. Like you could have.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like we could have gave Jerry West we could have gave Jerry West the MVP and gave Jordan the logo and just finally moved on and just accepted that he owns the league, bro.
Well, by this, it's probably like by the way that it made them sound that he doesn't want it to look too much like him. He probably doesn't want the logo to be Jordan.
No, they would have to pay. Here's
That's
the
what
part.
I'm saying.
I had
See,
to
they have
find.
to,
I had
they
to
have to
find
give him
that
money
out.
to put the logo on the jersey. So,
Bro, I had to find that out. I found this out a couple of years ago. Essentially, if the NBA makes the Jordan logo the logo of the NBA, they have to pay him every time it shows up on a TV screen.
oh, that's a lot of money.
He'll never be the logo, bro.
Yeah,
He will
never.
never be the logo.
That's
Let that
weird.
dream go, bro.
But you can feel free Locked On to make me and Pat the Locked On logo because we carry things on our back around here. But,
What's our logo gonna be, bro? What is our there's no good way to take this, bro. What is our logo gonna be? You can't just throw that out there.
us doing the hold
It's
on.
the fusion. It's the fusion. Ugh. We fat.
And
booty. We're fat.
just for old school, you gotta
there it is. That's the logo. That's the logo of Locked On right there. There it is. Hey, bro, this is the best part. We've gotten so far into the season, don't remember his name.
I don't remember it either, bro. At all.
No clue who that is. If you're listening on the podcast side, y'all ever go look at the YouTube side, redheaded dude from the Orlando Magic. He looks like me and Haize put together. Like we had a bad fusion moment.
That is funny, bro.
Oh,
but I
when
got
our
nothing
powers
left.
combine. Oh, wow. That was funny. Good stuff. Hey, man, follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. Oh, was that the end? That was the end? We good?
That's it.
Okay, we're out of here. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. Appreciate y'all for showing love. MJ, you can loosen up on the league a little bit, brother.
You can follow me at CEO Haize, the CEO Haize. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen every day. Now for your next listen, check out on Locked On Sports Today podcast, the biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and the take of the day. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat the Designer, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls. We out, y'all. And the music is back.